Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I was due in Nashville, Tennessee. We're about to leave Cub Fan's base behind. Bye, Cub Fan. And we are heading back to our area so we can do a little bit of digging. We have plenty to do this episode. Whoa. I always forget how big this is. Such a huge chamber here he built his portal in. But anyway, we have plenty of digging to do beneath the Death House. The Death House. To build the Death House dungeon. Now, that's a little bit of a spoiler for those of you guys who are going to watch the actual RPG game that we're going to hopefully play in a few weeks, but, well, I want to make something awesome, and I want to show you guys how I make it. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how much detail to incorporate into the build videos, because I feel like some of the details I'm going to want to do at the last second, so that you actually get to see the truly finished version of the house for the first time when we do the actual playthrough. So that's going to be a bit of a fine line to walk, but I think that I am ready to do it. Well, that was a fruitful trip through the nether. I actually grabbed a ton of netherrack, magma blocks, and nether quartz on my way back, so I'm ready to just dump this in some chests and start digging. Now, the dungeon that's going to go under the Death House has to go way below the Death House, because the dungeon actually would shut out probably far enough that it would be underwater here if we don't go, like, basically below sea level. So I'm probably going to need to plumb the depths of that, then determine from there how low I should build the dungeon. I'm kind of tempted to build it basically at bedrock, but the problem is if I need to dig lower for some reason, that's going to really kneecap me. So I'm thinking maybe I won't do that. Anyway. Let's just dump this stuff and be on our way. Time skip. So we are back inside the Death House, wedged between two of the walls. One of the secret passages in here that leads down to the basement dungeon is cleverly nestled right here. And this will go all the way up to the attic. Dang it. Is there a way to, like, attach that underneath? Oh, I'm going to have to put a full block there once I get some. Anyway. So, you actually have to go all the way up into the attic in this map to get down to the basement. So, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this shaft downward toward the inevitable basement dungeon that will likely cause all manner of glee and terror for our players. So, let's go down there now. So, now that we've descended from far above to way below, we're going to have to start making some interesting decisions about scale, because the corridors in this dungeon are like 5 feet wide in the original map by Chris Perkins. So that is close to 6 feet, which is like this. So I could say that each 5 by 5 square in the original map is a 2 meter by 2 meter square in Minecraft. But then I get into this problem with these walls that are basically infinitely thin. So I might have to just play with that a little bit. But when when players first come down, they are initially offered the chance to turn right here, or left right here. Now, if they go left, they are given an additional option to look, or to head this way. And I'm just going to kind of try to build this dungeon out as organically as I can for right now. I'm going to put in new walls or whatever later. But, so once they go through here, this has kind of a weird pitchfork thing to it, where it like turns and goes this way. That's going to open up in both directions. And then lead to some coffins, which I haven't figured out how I'm going to build exactly. Probably gonna have to think about that. Somebody has probably solved the problem of how to build coffins in Minecraft that are awesome looking. So, then this would come back to here. So for these coffins, or these coffin spaces, I might make these narrower. And so instead of having the full 2x2 pathway, make it feel like the players actually have to squeeze in if they want to go open these or mess with them. And then we've got the same thing on the opposite side here. And then we're going to go back another 4 blocks. Okay, see, this is a creeper. So for those of you guys who don't know, they're one of the bad guys in Minecraft. Why is my home keys? Home keys. Let's get this bow and arrow out. We're just going to kind of gently poke him to death from a distance. And if there's any other monsters over here, we'll poke them to death from much closer. And then we'd have a wall here that marks the southern end of this communal space. We'll just chop this up. Now the ceilings down here should be pretty low. This should not feel like a big high place. This is a dungeon underneath a house, not a mansion underneath another mansion. This is not a bat cave. Well, after our first foray and our initial attempt to lay out the beginning of the basement dungeon, I went back upstairs and grabbed some lumber so I can make more torches, some crafting benches, that sort of thing. Having these vines just kind of let me drop down in staggered steps is actually kind of a neat way to do that. Now, they're all going to grow in around each other, so it won't work in the long term, but I think it's cool for right now. So I figure first off, let's get the stairs in. Let's just go through everywhere we need stairs and just drop them in. So that way we have them, you know? One less thing to worry about. I don't have to look dumb like trying to climb this stuff. Great. Already better. Feeling the burn. Except like if the burn was a good thing. I guess it's probably better if everything's not perfectly symmetrical. Especially because this is hewn out as a basement. This doesn't have to be as logically perfect as the castle we're hoping to work on, but it is like a whole thing. And then when we turn, we should be right... Dang it. That's a baby silverfish. Okay, we're going to leave that for right now, because I don't like baby silverfish. This should take me right into my other area I've already dug out, if I go nowhere near that far. Oh, wait, because it's supposed to be a stairwell. Hold on. So, I'm going to come this far back in. More silver. Wow, there's like a whole vein of silverfish here. Okay, so I've been working on these big stairs down here. When people come down here, there's going to be this kind of big room with like creepy alcoves kind of in the walls. And I haven't worked out exactly how that's going to work, but I think I'm going to need a higher ceiling to sell the alcoves. Like, they're just not going to look right if it's as low a ceiling as the other spaces. So this is actually going to be interesting because they're going to come down into this less claustrophobic space from a more claustrophobic space, which in theory should make them feel safer, but it's not. So there's that. I like that. And it's always great when things lead to an altar in a dungeon underground. That's how you know you made good choices in life. You know, you come to a house, and then you descend into the basement, and there's actually a multi-level dungeon, and then there's an altar. Yeah, you're like, well, clearly everything I'm doing, I was right where I needed to be. So actually, these parts of the stairs here, these stairs I'm going to hew out. These are going to be rough stairs, I think. Because this actually has to lead underwater. What is going on down here? Okay, so let's go ahead and light this up, just so we don't have stuff jumping on us like that guy. Hello. Oh good, there's two of you. Well. Okay, not my problem. Anymore, now that you've exploded yourself. Oh, the lack of lights here is my problem. Oh, but it looks like there's light down this way. Can this only go poorly for me? Probably, yes. So this connects to a cool lava cave. I'm gonna have to make a note of that for later. But in the short term, I need to actually dig out what I plan to dig out. And hopefully, let's run back up here and grab some torches real quick. And of course, we have no way to get back up. So the reason to have these as, like, some sort of partially finished stairs here, maybe throw some slabs in just to kind of there, is because the stairs underneath here are actually going to be submerged. We're going to be building a pond that this goes down into. Once again, anytime you're in a basement and it leads underground to an altar surrounded by water, well, I mean, that's obviously even better. You know, that's just, you know, good life choices for you. Okay, so 2 buckets here. I guess we're just going to hop down and then ender pearl back up. That's probably the simplest thing. Yep, there it is. One death house underway. Hey, zombie. I'm gone. Check that out. Boom. Perfect ender pearl. Straight up into here. Alright. See, that is how you bypass a bunch of things in a house to get into a dungeon earlier. In reality, this will have walls and a ceiling on it, so it will not be so easy when the hermits come through. But, yeah. Oh, it's going to look so good once we actually get, like, good materials. This is just all about getting the core structure in place, so I make sure that all my walls and, you know, floors are in the right places. But yeah, this is going to be great. Okay. So, our water source. I should probably actually wall off this part back here. Let's go ahead and get our torches back in our offhand, because there is this cave I found earlier, and I should light that up and wall it off so we don't accidentally flood it or whatever, because that might be a bad idea. Now, I'm also curious if there's, like, how big this cave system is, and is there anything worthwhile here? There's some lava and some gold down there, which, while interesting, is not necessarily, like, a must-have immediately. Well, that kind of... Oh, I was going to say, is that spider webs, and that's super handy. I could really use some spider webs. But, okay, we'll remember this lava's here in case we need to make our own obsidian later. And let's head on this way. I guess it's good for cooking, too. Probably don't want to break too much of this coal now that I'm on a Fortune 2 pick. Save that for the Fortune 3. Oh, this is a nice little ravine. It's homey. Little cavern here. Whoa, leading across another ravine. We got skeletons. Whoa, enchanted spiders. Don't like those. Whoa, pits to fall in. Don't like those. Just gonna head on back here. Core concept, we explored enough to know that it's worth exploring more. One thing that's interesting is that this actually leads into like a garbage pit back here. There's like a garbage alcove, which is like maybe where the water came out of or something. But like, maybe this is where they used to burn their trash, behind the altar. Because that's the best place, you know, gods love that. Well, I guess you would have to throw away a lot of the parts of the animal that don't burn. So, you know, there's actually something there. But, okay, so here we go. Now we can just go ahead and take our water and start filling this in. Thanks to the magic of Minecraft, this shouldn't take very long. Now that we got our water in, we'll build our creepy altar in the center here. So the next thing to do in this room here is going to be to set up some stone pillars to hold the ceiling up. And I want to do that kind of like above the water line, because it'll look bad if they go into the water too far. Although, maybe if I put one cobblestone there, like that, it's not in the exact... Whoops, that's terrible. Not doing that. But yeah, this lets us kind of scrape the sky without being miserable about it. So, we can just make... I want to make this... So the other thing is this room should feel like it would collapse if it weren't properly secured. That's a big thing in D&D, is that roofs can collapse on you, and you will not survive it if they do. You should avoid being in situations where roofs collapse on you, if at all possible, at all times. So the room has this creepy, asymmetrical feel to it, but the posts don't feel like they're too close to each other over on this side. Yeah, there we go. We want this to be slightly off-putting in as many ways as possible. So, let's just, we're making great progress this episode. We're just gonna run back here real quick to our dungeon area and throw in a few cells and maybe a couple of, what do you call those, bars. So, whoa. That was a really loud zombie. Is that a new kind of zombie? Is somebody messing with me on the Discord? That sounds like a new zombie. I've never heard that zombie before. Where's that noise coming from? Is that somewhere in here? Where's that, like, low guttural noise coming from? Okay, well now I have to find the source of that noise, because that's terrifying me. Whoa, okay, maybe. We're just going to leave some of this walled off for the time being. So, not doing that. But good to know that that's right there. Okay. So we want to have these cells, now that I've proven to myself that I don't really want the answers to my questions, we're going to put in a few cells right here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some of these jungle fences and put in some posts to make the ceiling feel like it's not really stable either. Like, this whole place should feel like it can come down at you if you screw up. Because maybe it can. You don't know. You haven't played the adventure. Okay, yeah, so thinking about these alcoves, armor stands might also look good. Maybe some mob heads, other random framed items. It'll be nice. Weird lit up things. So, lowest level is actually pretty much okay in terms of floor plan. This level, I still have to dig out more of the barracks and kind of a worship area back here, but like, that's relatively straightforward digging. So just in terms of giving you guys a sense of how claustrophobic and maze-like and labyrinthine this all is, I feel like this is a good first episode, and we can come back with the proper materials and really get this all in place. So let's run back down the stairs one more time and say goodbye from our creepy altar chamber with the creepy water and everything. Yeah, this is great. Anyway, until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.